let's get started. Our first poet is going to be Edward Harson, who I believe is also an artist. His work has been shown at the Arts Depot, among other venues. And I'll let Edward talk about his poem himself. I'll make sure this is on if you need it.
My name is Edward Harson. I have been writing for a long time. Went to school for it, etc. And yes, have also painting. Has had show here, and real grateful to the Arts Depot for the venue. It's really well organized and a great group of folks. This is a new poem. One of the things I haven't read in a few years. I lived in if you're ever in Sanford, North Carolina. There's a really good once a month kind of organization down there at one of the shops on Main Street. And that was the last time I read. But I like reading to get the sound of what I've been writing and make sure that it's it sounds the way that I want it to. So this poem, recent, so I'll just get right there. It's called For Joan No Longer Here. The moon stopped and it wasn't as bad as we thought it might be. Scientists get excited, as they should, trying to apply the one grand plan to all beasts. So the oceans are flat now. We have only the scarce gravitational waves to break up the day, the way your old blue Bel Air banked into the muddy lot when a storm rolled up the Atlantic and I saw lightning and dark, dark trees. Once I broke a window getting into a VW Bug, broke a small bathroom window and I lost my keys. Broke a window dropping a ladder on the 6th floor of an office building in Portland, but no mirrors. With all the lamps I've launched, livid, the notebooks thrown, the punches thrown, I never broke a mirror like I could have ever seen myself clear. I can't see death clearly, clearest of all glasses, just this blurred halt moon in a fountain of clouds above the barn, and the passing geese of time who echo our white-boned hearts. Who dies doesn't care about the moon. I think that's what you said. So the piebald horses graze near the vultures, the white ass among sheep. Wind down the hollow slowly strips the stopped trees, and I'm blind to all but the giant white birch stood like lightning, like a map of creeks out of the hill, like a brittle city where still we'd be happy. E pluribus unum, is it? You're not really here, I'm not really haunted. Carrying the old potential of April rhododendrons, I'll throw a shoe at the moon on my way home. The stupid, stubborn moon, no longer changing phases. Now an eye, now a denial. Thank you for letting me do that.
Our next poet is someone I met quite recently, Margie Stanko, and she does a lot of different things besides writing poetry. She does workshops and I think uses poetry as a way of healing, which is very important. That's another aspect of the power of the poem. So I'll let Margie tell you about her work and her poem. And thank you so much, Margie Stanko.
Oh my goodness. Hi, everybody. I am going to read you a series of poems about two people, myself and another. Can Can you hear me? Yes. Do I have to? I can slouch. Yes. Okay. Let's move. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
How about that? If I don't speak clearly, just hold up your hands and I'll stop. Okay, so the first poem was written in 1987. The second poem was written in 1991. The third poem was written in 1993. And the last poem was written about 4 months ago. But they're all about me and another person. Oh, I forgot. I'm getting old. So the first poem is called Eve's Journal, entry number 1. I climb your tree of knowledge to pluck the fruit that dangles from your limbs. In my hand it ripens. Placing it between my lips, I suckle the juices that seep from its flesh, allowing myself the nourishment of joy. Ecstatic with discovery, my bliss draws me closer to Eden. The second one is called My Candy Store Boy. A dollop dropping from your double Dutch chocolate ice cream mouth, your voice once poured enchanted possibilities through my ears into my heart. Our candy store innocence gone, you have become a hand-dipped, candied man, sugaring my life with your butterscotch embrace, your hot fudge tongue, your solid chocolate heart, your raspberry jam blood, your lemon meringue love. And this is for him, for Jean-Robert Morisseau, who died in 1992. Where is your drum? Did they bury it with you? Its red, yellow, blue wooden body, topped by skin worn thin, by serpentine fingers liberating my feet. A cornucopia of color crosses the floor into your mango-flavored Haitian moonlight embrace. Where is your drum? It is in my heart, still beating. Another ending of it. This is called Silk Embroidery. That sharp rap on the wooden frame, not a neighbor needing sugar or an egg. That sharp rap on the wooden frame, a bit of a thump, then a pause, and I understand the honor in this query. Are you home? That sharp rap on the wooden frame awakens the Nordic heart hanging on the door. Below the peephole, its melody quickens my heart. That sharp rap on the wooden frame asks for harmony. I pull the door, the whispered whoosh of cool into heat, heat into cool, and creaks of rusted hinges, the overture of our song. Its first word, hello. Your hand raised to rap again. I see your eyes glow with knowing, then dim with uncertainty. I see the newness of your face, its blend of age, sage, and wanting. The welcoming of the harp bathes your ears with the delicacy of grace. You wear what I would have worn on my wedding day, linen slacks, loose, swaying, creamy, a tunic embroidered in silk, peonies, lilacs, violas, flowers that carry my story, that fill the void loss creates, still pristine despite the distance you have traveled. Your feet bare, You step in and join me. Your words flutter, untethered by syllables. A revelation, and I know love is at my door.
So lyrical. Is there a story behind that one? That was one that you shared in the writers group.
I was taking a workshop, and there was a prompt from a Naomi, I can't remember her name, Naomi Habib, and the poem that they used was called Red Brocade, and it was about a pillow, which was the most valuable thing that this family owned, and a stranger had knocked on their door. And they invited him in with absolutely nothing to share about what was in their bowls already. But he came in and they shared, and then they shared laughter, and then they shared joy. And then he gave the stranger the red brocade pillow as a thank you for bringing joy to their lives. So that's what birthed it. Where it came from, I haven't got a clue.
It's marvelous. Any questions for Margie?
You say that the 4 poems were all about the same 2 people.
Yes, myself and, yeah.
So I kind of thought, based on kind of what you said and listening to the progression of it, it's like a love story.
Okay. Can you repeat that, please?
So just based upon the progression of the song, of the poets from the first one to the last one, how they kind of progressed, it's kind of like a love story of some kind.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, the outcome is I'm ready for love again. You know, that's the outcome of it.
I could hear it weighed together pretty seamlessly. That if you listen closely, you could hear the difference in the very first one and the last one. How they kind of, I don't know how to explain it. Not real articulate, but you kind of hear how they weave themselves together.
Oh, thank you.
I thought they were.
Well, does anybody want to have some fun? I need some volunteers, and you all have to participate. Are you willing to do that? So I need 2 or 3 people to come up and stand behind me. Come on, Ken.
I'm always ready for play.
Okay, I got one person.
One other brave soul.
I got 2 people.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand behind you.
Oh, okay.
Uno más persona, por favor.
Okay, yay.
All right, Ken. Okay, so I'm going to move the podium a little if I can, or we're going to go in front of the podium.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we get to dance?
Yes, you get to dance. Come on.
Uh-oh.
It's a very simple dance.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes. The dance goes like this. 2, 3, 4. And if you mess it up, it's okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and you're going to do that when I say the refrain. La 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 la. So you all have to do the refrain with me. Okay, so let's practice. La 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 la. La, 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 la. Okay, now let's do it with the choreography. You ready? La, 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 la. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Okay, good. I'm going to run through it once. We'll see how we do. If it's a total failure, I won't do it again. So the name of this poem is Mick Jagger's Lips, which I was obsessed with for a very long time. I know. And I'm no longer obsessed with this piece because it's shrunken. So it goes like this. A pouty-mouthed Italian boy, that's what I want to kiss. I see him there across the room. Those pillows are his lips. That mother beard hides my cries. I'm steaming myself. My lips go wet. I'm out of time. I don't know what to shout. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Hey there, boy, I'm trying to blame your lips just driving me wild. You're the man I can't resist, cause you have got me jagger lips. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. I forgot the rest. I haven't done this since 1984. I just wanted to see if I could do it. Let's see. But anyway, thank you for letting me do that.
Leah Elliott Hamilton.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity, the space to share our poems. It's not, it doesn't happen every day that we get it just like this, so thank you for this. So, this poem, I first performed it about 3 years ago while writing it in the car on the way to a gathering, and it has evolved somewhat since then, which is appropriate because the title is Articles of Evolving Faith. I believe in a force that fuses hydrogen into helium, sending photons flying through time and space. In a force that crashed the moon into the earth and reformed them both. In a force calling the plants to grow toward the light. I believe that same force draws lover to lover, child to mother, all of us together into the whole. I believe in one God pulsing and humming in every particle of the cosmos, making and unmaking all that is seen and unseen. I believe that our fields of intelligence extend beyond the boundaries of our brains and even our bodies, mingling with the life of the exhaled breath of the trees, the pollinated fruits of the bees, and the rocks beneath our feet. I believe that we carry within us the wisdom of everything we have ever been. The bear, the lizard, the algae, the soil, the wind, the ocean, the stars. I believe that among the billions and billions of spheres of the cosmos, there exists not one that is perfect in form or static in state, and that this inconstancy and inconsistency proclaim the stars our kin, as though the heavy elements of our bodies birthed in the rupture of theirs were not proof enough that we are stardust, we are golden. I believe that if if you can touch it, it's temporary. That forms pass away, that bodies die and decay, are reformed and remade, and when the dust blows away, love is what remains. I believe that the greatest lie ever known is when it was said we all die alone. Not once for a moment have we not been at home. Mani Padme Hum. I believe that I am as much the microbes who inhabit my body as I am that I am my Father's daughter, made from the dirt and water of the Kaibab Plateau. And I believe that time moves like a spiral, not an arrow, and that when enough of us recognize the eternity that we are, the absurdity of such illusory pursuits as making money will wither before the blazing brilliance we all so obviously and undeniably are. Indeed, I believe there exists a time when this has already happened. And I believe that love is not something that we do or that we have, but the essence of what we are. Though we see now darkly, love pierces this veil of tears and theft and war. Sometimes it is only when it is dark enough that we can see that we are stars. When we've been here 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days our songs to raise than when we first begun.
Love the variety that we're hearing today. It's so obviously you're also a singer and a musician, and the power of music behind, that it gives to the poem as well. So, as you were reading, I was reminded of the book Physics for Poets. Does that have any?
I don't know the book, but I am intrigued.
Does anybody know that book, Physics for Poets? Yeah, it's a fascinating book, right? Yeah. What is your background in terms of what subject matter that you?
Okay, so you guessed right as far as musician. My degrees are in music. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in vocal performance, but most of my professional life, I have been an English teacher. I started out teaching English as a second language. I taught high school English for a while, and back to English as a second language. That's kind of, it's my sweet spot. I love it. It's where I feel like I fit. But I'm also an editor and a writer, based in Marion, been there for a couple years. Originally from Arizona, there was a reference to the Kaibab Plateau. That's in northern Arizona, very close to where I'm from and very close to my heart.
Absolutely beautiful. Beautifully done.
Thank you.
I taught public school for 18 years, public school music. I taught at Watauga Elementary 10 years as an elementary music teacher, and I'm just fascinated at how people develop and how 9-year-olds turn into 20-year-olds, into 40-year-olds, and it's just so interesting the way life affects all of us. And I now have a mama who will be 99 in 9 days. So when I wrote this song, the end of it was about a 90-year-old, and now I need to change it to a 99-year-old, I think. But this is one that in the winter of 2010, I guess it was January 2010, I was home. We had snow back then, a couple weeks worth, and we were out of school, and I thought, I wonder if anybody would like to hear any of these songs. So got on the internet, and I found the Woody Guthrie folk song, International Folk Song Contest. And I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool. I'll send some songs to that. So I sent some songs to that, and I didn't think any more about it. And came home one afternoon in early spring, and I got a phone call from Oklahoma that said, you've won. So you've got to come to Oklahoma. You've got to come to Woody Fest in Okemah, and you've got to get on stage and sing a 20-minute set of your own songs. I'm like, oh, my gosh. Be careful what you wish for. Because I didn't even take the time to learn my own songs. I just write and play them for the family and friends, and that's it. So that was a great experience. That was a lot of fun. And this is the song that won. They move it up a fret. When you're 9 days old, there's not much to do. You eat and you sleep and they take care of you. And each day they hold you, watch as you grow, wish for a good life they hope you will know. When you're 9 years old, there's fun stuff to do. Play with your friends, take a trip to the zoo. Each day you're learning things that are new, while those all around watch over you. Oh, the days of your life like a river they flow. So much to learn, so much you don't know, and it's only worthwhile what we have with each other through kindness or care. When you're 20 years old, you're fearless and strong. The future is bright and you cannot be wrong. All that you hope for and all that you dream won't take too long to reach, so it seems. When you're 40 years old, you work all the time to keep the ball rolling, but you spend every dime. There's no time to think about what might have been. You got to keep traveling the road with no end. Oh, the days of your life like a river they flow. So much to learn, so much you don't know, and it's only worthwhile if we give and we share what we have with each other through kindness and care. When you're 65, the working is through, your family and friends get to see more of you. You try to make up for the time you have lost. There's time to reflect and add up the cost. And the days of your life some of the happiness leaves in tears, and everything happens so quickly it seems. Life has a way of waking your dreams. When you're 99, there's not much to do. You eat and you sleep, and they take care of you. And you long for their visits, so happy to see the newest additions to the family tree. All the days of your life like a river they flow. So much to learn, so much you don't know. And it's only worthwhile if we're given we share what we have with each other through kindness and care. When you're 9 days old, there's not much to do. Smell the honeysuckle as it's drifting on the air. Strumming on my old guitar, I hadn't got a care. Life was so simple then, the way it ought to be. Down the dusty river road for all eternity. A gentle place far from town, no houses could be seen. An easy place to rest a while, so peaceful and serene. Take a breath as deep as the swimming hole nearby. Down the dusty river road, I'll watch the world go by. No one's in a hurry, got nowhere to be. Just someone I care about spending time with me. Seems like it was yesterday, but it was long ago. We made special memories now.
If I could change the world, every child would have shoes on their feet. Everyone would have enough to eat. No one would ever know of her. If I could change the world, there'd be no sickness or disease. We'd all be able to live in peace. The word fear would never be heard. If I could change the world, if I could change the world, war would be a word no one ever knew. Pain would be something that we never go through. They wouldn't be bound by our mistakes. If I could change the world, no one would ever know of hate. We'd all know love, warm and brave, and can be the only grace. If I could change the world. If I could change the world, they'd have to beg for change in the street, and love would be the only drug we'd need. Not one suicide would occur.
Tell me how you come to be in different worlds, still so at ease. Tell your secrets all to me, that my heart might find some peace. I don't think you fell for tricks. Love's why you stayed across the sticks. 'Cause I know you knew the consequence when that pomegranate touched your lips. Oh, Persephone, tell me how you come to be in different worlds, still so at ease. Tell your secrets all to me, so that my heart might find some peace. Every choice feels right and wrong when trying to find where I belong. You ended up with everything. Now I just want the same ending. Oh, Persephone, tell me how you come to be a girl that gets all that she dreams. Tell your secrets all to me, that my heart might find some peace.
I'm just honored to present Mr. Jim Minnick.
Thank you, Carol, and thank you all for coming, and thanks to all the poets and singer-songwriters who are sharing here. It's never easy, right? It's bearing your soul. So I do have a new book out, The Intimacy of Spoons, and I will read from it, but I also try to read poems that I did not read, for the most part, from a couple weeks ago at the library. So I know there are some people here who were there as well. But the first one is, who knew you could write a whole book of poetry about silverware, right? So, To Spoon, love poems in addition, love poems about silverware. So, all right, To Spoon. To spoon is not to fork. That's what we do to steaks and roads and manure. To fork is to pierce, penetrate, puncture. To fork is to split and branch, to pay up and cough out, but also to tune. We forklift crates, we pitchfork hay. The devil never carries a spoon. Can you bang forks and get a song? To spoon is not to knife. That's what we do too often to bodies in silence. To knife is to slice, to stab and wound, to skin, fillet, and butcher. To knife is to dam, water that once spooned the land. Can you play knives without getting hurt? Yet the tool is innocent. A fork feeds or gigs. A spoon ladles soup or cooks heroin. And a knife, to scalp and to scalpel, both require a sharp blade. Listen to the drumming of the spoons. To spoon is to slip into sleep and the same soft breath to listen to the rain with one ear. There's a lot of birds in my life, I hope in yours as well, and a lot of birds in these poems. And you all know juncos, I hope. They're sometimes called snowbirds, and they're here in the winter, and they just left maybe a week ago. And so this is in honor of them. So help her out, maybe. It's called Lasts, and it's in 4 parts. 1. They arrive unannounced, these lasts. Last kiss and welcome home hug. Last hiccup and hurry up. Last horse snort and nicker. And all the time and every time. Last catbird feather, gray in hand. Last dimpled blueberry. Last puppy wiggle and lick. We rush through them unaware. Last bloom of chestnut, last bare-leafed ash, last ice-cloaked hemlock. Our last trampling over this blue marble. 2. Juncos, slate black against snow in winter, white bellies amongst snowdrops in spring. They never sing until they're gone to their tundra home for the summer. And they never let you know when they part. Goodbye, I always say, too late. 3. And what about those other lasts? I've saved beechnut trees and acorn-loaded oaks, foods they loved. I've waited for flocks of passenger pigeons to blacken the sky for days once more. And a parakeet in these woods? So hard to imagine, so hard not to look for that splash of green and red. Goodbye, we always say too late. Or we never get a chance to say it all. 4. 20 years ago, monarch butterflies glided these fields thistle to thistle, too many to count. Now they are too few. I saved milkweed, look for eggs, but what will remain 20 years from now? Goodbye doesn't have to be the only way to say love. I think we need a little upper after that, right? The great Kentucky writer Harriet Arnault, I love her work, but I really love this detail. She and her husband had a dog that they named Sin, S-I-N. So just imagine, come on, Sin, let's go, right? You call into Sin or stay Sin, right? So in that vein, this is called Mort for short, M-O-R-T, Mort for short. Mortality, the disease. Mortality, the cure. Mortality, the name of my next dog who will lick my face and greet me at the door. Mort for short, right? So, okay. And then one more about death, at least for now.
You didn't tell me you were going to do that.
I know. So when I was a teenager, I was in a pretty bad fire. And I'd written about that previously and thought I was done, but this poem came out. So it's called Good Dirt. Already I've tasted fire. Tongue to tongue, I've licked its heat and flame, smelled hair singed in my nose. Already I've heard the pop of skin after it blistered. Such pain I did not know until the nerves went numb from the bright explosion. Let me tell you, fire's deeper secret is a heart that has no color, and in that heart the rumble and roar disappear. When I die, the tongues will lick me again, only more fully, and only after my spirit has already leapt. Ashes from bone make good dirt. So I want to read just one from a previous book of poetry called Burning Heaven, and this is in time for this season. I grew up in Pennsylvania in the state flower. Anybody know the state flower of Pennsylvania? Mountain laurel. And I love that detail. And as a kid, my grandparents would often go. I would tag along, go up to the mountains to get spring water. And this one time, we wanted to go see the laurel blooming, and this conversation happened that I kind of was a part of between my grandparents. I should say my grandfather had a very big temper, and my grandmother would always just kind of, now, Carl. Right. Mountain laurel. White cups touched with pink, a saucer of pollen for each bee. A Sunday drive in the mountains, laurel thickets lining the road. Grandma, hobbled by arthritis, looks to me. Pick me a laurel, she says. You can't, Grandpa complains. It's illegal, the state flower. His words hang between us. I know, she replies, then points and tells me to break and bring her a stem. I do, and resurrect her request each spring to breathe in this memory, to hold what no law can touch. I'm real honored to be in this new anthology that just came out. It just got in the mail yesterday. It's called Writing the Land, Virginia, and it's a part of a series. Writing the Land is this organization that invites poets from all over the regions and assign, or I guess the poets volunteer, and then land trusts who are working to conserve the land. Land trusts pick the poets, and the poets then get to write poems about these particular places. So I know, Felicia, you had the mill out here, and she is in here as well. I was very fortunate to write about our own farm, and I just the whole idea of Writing the Land, the title of the whole series, I just kept playing with that. So this is called Written. I write the land, and the land writes me. Bean row, elbow ache, grip of toe, this braille of scars I learn to see. But when I'm blind and deaf from the wide world, noisy silence is all I know. Then, if I write the land, will the land write me? This place, its grace washes over me when I forget, when I surrender and go into the braille of scars to learn to see. Bark touch, owl call, ginseng seed. These letters of an alphabet, long and slow, learn me when I write the land and the land writes me. Listen. The silence on a slope of scree holds all the sound of every rain and snow, this braille and avalanche of how to see. What is left when I hug a tree, no longer there? A ghost of wind glee and woe that used to write the land when the land wrote me. A braille of scars I learned to see. And then one other one that was also selected for this anthology and is also in the Spoons book comes out of this idea of, what if we somehow learn to be thankful for even the worst things that happen to us? What happens to us, what happens to who or whatever was wounded or hurt, as well as the people that or whatever, whoever did those wounding things, and what kind of what does that take? What would that look like? So this came out of that question, but also came out of this land that we live on, and the history I've learned about it, and so it's called "What If We Learn at Last, but the Land Stops Forgiving." To the men who logged this land in 1965, leaving tire ruts clogged with leaves and scarred oaks, hollow and now tall, arching over skid trails, green alleys I hike, pressing down with each step the already compacted soil that a lifetime later still grows nothing. For all, thank you. To the men who logged this land when they came home from the war, the civil one, to find old growth so ripe it took a day to fell just one, red, white, and black oak, poplar, maple, chestnut, walnut, and slippery elm. You milled each massive trunk here by the creek, bog too soft, so you built a timber bridge of chestnut cauls and left slab heaps, rail spikes, and spindly logs below hillsides, stumped and suddenly empty. Rain lifted the powdered soil and rumbled it down to bury your debris in mud so deep the wood purpled instead of rotted until, 125 years later, we dug a pond, uncovering logs salvaged into storied lumber. Thank you. To the men who quarried another hillside in 1795, poor whites and poor slaves and bossmen yelling to dig for iron, for zinc, for lead, for ore of any color. But you found none, your horses exhausted, your shovels ringing empty. Instead of mines, you left ravines 30 coffins deep and bare wallow pits, and now, 200 years later, white pines tower alongside, filling each slough needle by needle, but still each trench is barren, still no soil, still thank you all. And to this dirt, who daily reminds us what death tastes like, and to these stumps who sprout chestnut wands to blight year after year, and to this poplar we gouged while building our road, who still offers us shade and air, rain patter on leaves, and forgiveness if we begin to believe. For all this and more, thank you. Thank you. I think we need one about a dog, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, to loosen it up a little bit. So we have, one of our dogs is a boxer pit bull mix, and before he had some health issues, he would chase bears, and I mean, he was just one muscle that was all out. And and he had this, he still does it. He has this particular love for a particular kind of feces that you'll learn about. And the last short stanza is from in his voice. It's called Earth Diving. Ray needs no goggles, no snorkel, no tank, no wetsuit for his boxer bull, all muscle, all focused self. Besides, the goggles wouldn't work. The cleft between his eyes that's like a sliding board for my thumb is too deep for such gear. He swims these woods just fine in his own fierce and goofy way, chasing chipmunks and black bears, following the currents of luxurious smells. When Ray finds something good, like the slimy rot of a dead squirrel, or the fresh green ooze of a calf pie, or his favorite, crawdad inflected, fish scale glittered, neatly deposited otter shit, he doesn't roll like most dogs, he dives. Head down, shoulder leading, quick, again and again, the only way to rub that odoriferous joy into just the right spot. A smear from jowl to ear, from cheek to neck. A perfume no bottle can hold, no towel can wipe away. And why should my pal Jim be yelling so much? He need not be jealous. I'd gladly share. One more, and then do you want question and answer, or
if you have some questions, we are running a little bit
so
behind, but
if you want one or two questions or not. So the last one is the title poem for this whole book, and it's the first one that I actually wrote in here. I wrote it in 2008, I think, and I had no idea that I could write a whole book about silverware. It's called The Intimacy of Spoons. Knives with serrated edges, their solid singularity and sureness of purpose. Forks, too, with fanged teeth and slots of air, their habit of piercing. Neither will ever know the intimacy of spoons. How they hold each other, knees cupped, thighs touching, the long curve of spine soft against belly and chest, the nuzzled narrow neck, this ladle of bodies. Slowly your breathing softens, falls into that space of sleep where you twitch in dreams, and I hold on. Thank you.
Jim, can you give us the titles of those collections again? And where's the best place to get those?
Okay. The Intimacy of Spoons is, first off, I have these all here if you want to buy them. For me, I'd be happy to sell you them. The Intimacy of Spoons is the newest of my collection, or of my collections. Burning Heaven is a previous poetry book, and then Writing the Land, Virginia. So it's I think it's all or most of the land conservancies in Virginia. It's very specific. The other books in this series are from all over the country. So, any other questions?
Questions.
Yes.
I was really struck by the line 30 coffins deep.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the name all the time.
It's a long. That's all right. You don't. Yeah. Yeah.
But I was wondering if you could tell me, is there like historical significance to that line, or what that line means to you?
So when I walk this place, I'm always, history is never really that deep beneath our feet, and I'm just trying to figure out what went on here. And I live in Wythe County, so if you know anything about the local history, there's a lot of iron found of what are those big stone forges nearby, and I'm sure they were test pits, and so just they did not thankfully find anything of to dig in our place. I think. I mean, they only left these kind of big scars that are still not filled, and so how do you capture that idea of how long it takes something to heal, and how many people lost their blood trying to make that happen, as well. So, yeah. I mean, the line is the image just I hope echoes, and, yeah. So.
About 30 generations to fix it all.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it might. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you all. Thank you.
So anyway, I'm very honored and privileged to present Bob.
Hello, everybody. This one's called This Lived-In World, Part 1. I'm in sort of a long tube. The ends cannot be seen, not in front nor behind me. Sort of like getting an MRI, but without the banging. It's like being in some in-between place. I've left one, but not yet entered the other. I could be watching a movie, but I'm not. I could be watching TV, but I'm not. I could be dreaming, but I'm not. I now understand what they mean when they say, you are where you're supposed to be. I simply cannot be somewhere else, anywhere else, nowhere else. It truly cannot be. Have I been here before? Maybe more than once or twice, maybe throughout eternity. Who knows? When will it make sense? Maybe soon, or maybe it will remain a mystery. Maybe when you finally find out, you have reached your expiration date, forever. Or maybe it begins all over again. No one knows, but soon I will. I may forget it, but I'm sure I will know if for just a moment. This tube is a desolate place. It's very small, but it might go on for infinity. Wind, I hear wind, a memory of wind, 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 pushing me forward. Pictures, images, tunnels, tracks, roads, buildings, woods, pastures, bodies of water, whistles, hums, bells, horns, brake sounds, whoosh sounds, swinging rhythms, drops of rain, sheets of rain, murmurs, cries, deep breaths, chimes, tinkles, drums in the distant, moving closer and closer. Enough with the wind. Back to where I am. A place in between another place. Who knows about such thing? No one I know. No one I see or hear. Here I am. Here I am. We project this time so much of our lives, and when it comes, we don't believe it. Explanations could occur or not. I think in this area they seldom do. Maybe never. Maybe we don't know in the limited states we are in. When we are alive, we are too limited to see out of the reality of our present. But in our spare moments, we ponder the future of exactly this state of being, the one I dwell in right now. I'm still trying to focus on the details of my current reality, and good luck with that. You know what? Nothing prepares us for this, nothing at all. And you can think about it forever, but you cannot conceive of the unknown and its secrets, its origins and destination, and the time it takes. The tube starts to shake. Voices commence. I relate to these voices. I start to whip around, trying to hear them, trying to understand them, grasp their meanings. Yes, I've done that. Yes, I felt that exact thing. Yes, I believed in that too. No, it's different for me, but... And so on, it goes on and on for infinity, it seems. It might be days, weeks, months, or moments. Then the tube makes a very powerful whistling sound, and the voices climb higher and higher. They begin to evaporate. It becomes sweaty in the tube. The water is rising higher and higher. It turns to hail, then ice, and water again. There is a period of silence, then stillness, quiet, and no anxiety. A little breathing starts and a bit more in slow motion, and then at a much faster speed, silence again, stillness returns. Clarity is all around. Different sounds of clarity emerge, sounds of familiarity, then friendliness, safety, security, wonder, joy, laughter, human connection, harmony, all throughout the tube. Approval, agreement, tranquility, serenity. And this is just Act 1, Scene 1. Thunder is clapping throughout the tube, then a nice long break. And I am now up in the air, right through the top of the tube. Not at all what I expected. It feels like a tapping of a salt shaker. I'm dropped into a room painted all white with machines, masked people whispering to each other. A hand smacks my behind, and sound pours out of me. And sound is like thunder, and colors are blinding. The sun burns, and metal is cold, and it hurts. Everything I see is very interesting. Everyone is absorbed with me. I am the source of interest everywhere I go. Every movement jars me, and sometimes I feel uncomfortable no matter what position I'm in. If I get comfort from someone, they own me. I am totally dependent on them. I cry a lot, but I'm playful too. I laugh almost as much as I cry. Time goes by real slow, like day and night. They are both endless, every day, every night. Toys are my currency. Rattles, bells, bird sounds, and things that chime, sparkly things. Animal noises are very funny. People, too, they look funny in front of me. They change the way they talk and act. They make a big deal of everything around me, especially if I laugh and giggle. They do it again and again. Yes, they figured it worked once. Thank you.
This is called Up from Tumbling Creek. And if I were teaching, I'd say, listen to the images in these poems, and where one thing grabs me, and then I go with that to write the poem. And so these are all sort of image-based poems. Up from Tumbling Creek. Rhododendron roots laddered up from Tumbling Creek. So I grabbed one and then another, to climb back to the road while my son shook his hands free, bare feet skipping rock to rock. My son's a grown-up now. He was probably 12 in that poem. Okay. Another image-based poem I want to read is called Fairy Stones. Have you all been to Fairy Stone State Park? Maybe? Should. So some years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer, and one of my friends said, well, what do you want to do? It's like, I said, I want to dig for fairy stones. You know, that was so off we went. Fairy stones. 1, lopsided wings, an angel shrugging. 2, chip on a shoulder as big as a heart. 3, a cross to bear. 4, study for a torso to be cast in bronze. 5, words in a matrix as if in a maze. 6, worry stone with wings. 7, stone tears. And so the last 2 poems, they're long, but they're not really because they're skinny. So when I read the next one, and I can I won't say, and I'll go find where I was sitting when I wrote this poem, but it's a rock on Laurel Creek over near Straight Branch. And so a lot of times I think of my poems as documentaries that help me remember things, even the natural ones based on natural, not just ones about my family or my past. And so then I'll read one more, and then you get your assignment. In one sitting, Jefferson National Forest. Okay, listen to these stanzas. This is where we make the transition to where I say, y'all are going to learn to write a haiku like you never wrote a haiku ever before in just a minute. So the stanzas in the next 2 poems are created from haiku. A beaver long gone now works to move the water, its limb over rocks. Nestled in the twigs, a plastic water bottle, too blue to forget. Over my shoulder, a white rhododendron blooms. At my feet, busy ants. Wind has blown petals onto the matted pine needles, tears of joy on flushed cheeks. Through sky and branches, the sun finds one perfect leaf and rests with a fly. The creek runs away, leaving the mountain for river. Rain will take it home. Little rocks, big rocks, rocks hidden by the water, rocks sunning like toads. Above my cloister, a helicopter passes, louder than a bee. Water, gray and white and green and brown and silver, colors from the sun. I almost killed it, the mosquito on my hand. Then I changed my mind. Moss, like strokes of paint on a brown earthen palette, is still wet with rain. Roots are more exposed than I am here on my rock, apart from the path. Some of these tall pines are much younger than I am, and some older than I'll ever be. So I wrote that while I was on the rock. So if I ever get stuck, I just go head out on a trail with a pad of paper, with some paper.
There's been a lot of sad poems. Here's one more. Last week, I believe, was the 25th anniversary of the Columbine Massacre. 8 days before the Virginia Tech Massacre, Kathy and I took a hike on the Creeper Trail. It was it was after a freezing cold night. title is Blacksburg Winter, April 2007. March and April got all mixed up, bearing bitter Easter's dogwood winter day. Venturesome souls huffing frozen air, breathlessly chance upon delicate columbines, hardy, clutching solemn limestone, crag-hardened scarlet, vernal trumpets, brazen beauty bound forever to such ugliness. We leave the flower to set bitter fruit once again here in hard-hearted April, 8 days before the Tech Massacre. This one I read at the library's Poetry Month. It got some interesting response, so I'll do it again. I call it a valediction to matrimonial understanding, called Playing by Ear. Repeating what I just said, makes me frustrated, so I get mad. I'm mad at my beloved some 55 years, half a century more or less. I know it's pointless. Anger loses the point. She wears hearing aids. I have ears too. That's what we call them, ears. I don't wear them much. I don't need them much. When I think she's not listening, I think she's not hearing. Maybe she's not hearing, because when I don't hear her, I say, huh? It's when I'm not listening, not hearing. You understand? But sometimes I'm not hearing. Like when the water's running. You know I can't hear you when the water's running. Or in the basement. I'm in the basement. But more so when I'm preoccupied. Occupied by something else. What else? Oh, yeah. I used to wonder why old people say everything twice. Everything. Twice. Now, what was I trying to say? I'm trying to recall what I was trying to tell you. Do you hear me? Are you listening? Get thee to a briary. Big-breasted blackberry, stiletto-heeled lover comes on a passionate tart. The taste of her meat compels me weep. Still I plunder her leafy heart. Yes, she's beguiling, and yes, I arise to this conquest now in my grasp. Cat o' nine tails at my back pricks penance for what I've amassed. Daughter of sun, defiant one, must I wrench free your bitter desire? Your lusty embrace impales my face. It's the serpent to whom you desire. Getting undone, the undoing I've done, my skin sheathes her thorns like a scabbard, till I recall from before my late fall, dance her dance, but promenade backwards. Sugar benumbs her, its sweetness becomes her, strumpet of fruit and of crime. Blackberry's best, exceeding taste test when simmered down to sublime. Encrust her in pie, her flesh will defy you to lick any wounds you preserve. Taste her on biscuit with butter. Pray risk it. She's better than we all deserve. And one last one. I know y'all are ready to get up and eat some more. This one is called I Would. It's spelled AYEWOOD. Would I marvel at your elegance, cool within your shadow, admire your breezy grace, resilient in a storm, shelter beneath your canopy, wonder at the mushroom sucker networking your gentle grove, bird, bug, beast, blossom festoon you, earth's clock variegates your raiment. I would sooner fell you, cut you limb from limb, grasping a handle remnant of your kin, split apart your heart, set it ablaze, kindled by fiber of your being, spitting, crackling, shooting starry sparks in the air, joyfully warming my body, mesmerized before the flame, licking your body to ash. Lord of this acre, I might set you upright to mark my hallowed domain, staple wire to your flesh, or saw you into pickets, conserve orchard grove at the price of your fruit, sweeten my lover with syrup and honey, squirreling your pecans and almonds for sparer seasons, your leafy tears amend my garden. I would fashion joist and rafter, sleep beneath your sheltering beam, stomp on your bones in anger, dance a resonant timbre, living and loving within your carcass till I lay within it. Astonished at your patterned grain and burl, carved and polished like marble, fit for kings or bishops who don your princely threads, admire your beauty crafted into table, chair, cabinet, mantel, sash, and door. Should I respect your clutch to carbon soils and rain, thank for warmth, shelter, food, and flour, for tying us together with laces of steel, bearing the freight of our living apart? I could hug you and feel your spirit, but I break you into splinters, pick my teeth, mocking a mighty bow brought low, crush you, bleach you, document daily business of living upon you, wipe my ass and flush you away in ancestral hands, tribal tool. Atlatl felled the mammoth mastodon, wood arrow shaft slays smaller prey, then falling upon our fellows with spear, catapult, copper's cudgel, or rifle butt. Your strength unleashed madness, a redeemer nailed to a tree. I pluck you from your woodland fellows, drag you into a shell of yourself, setting you up right, rootless, adorned by ornament and light, cheering my soul against the darkest nights in worship of another.
All right. What a group of talented people we had today. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for to the poets for presenting. And now I'm very privileged to present our finale, Miss Daryl Ann Beagley.
Yeah, I'm the caboose, so thanks for your patience. Hold on just another minute or two. I had picked some poems and about the creative process, and I might try to drop a couple. Am I okay with 10 minutes? Okay. Sitting with the Muse. Together we cradle moonlight, whispering in smiles to the stars, scenting the dewy grass with fairy dust secrets. Eyes wide with wonder, we watch the wordlings push their heads up through the fecund earth. Come dawn, tiny tendrils will twist toward the sunlight, dancing their way into the world. 1,000 living poems. Sometimes, let me see, I think I'll just skip that in the interest of time. This one was me kind of trying to let go of my usual rational process and just sort of go there. It's called To Live. Slices of the aurora borealis on my plate. May I eat them, please? The universe beams down a song only my heart cells can decode, pulsing the melody to my lungs, breathing it to my brain, thinking it to my fingers. Wandering this lonely road, I look up to see branches reaching for each other overhead, touching, covering me with the comfort of green darkness. Gorging myself on words like lovely lotus blossoms, I drift in dreams of light, color, my blood still singing, as leaves flutter above like so many butterflies, hanging in limbo, longing for mud, for salt, for procreation, immortality. Having been part of the writers group that meets here, the ACPW, for maybe 12 years, there are times when the meeting sneaks up on you and it's like, oh, we got a meeting tonight. I don't have anything new to bring. And so it's like, come on, let's scramble and see if we can find something. This is a poem written on one of those occasions. It's kind of whimsical. It's called Summoner. I wish to command a poem, audacious. I wish to conjure it from the soft, moist air of this gray day in May. The birds sing. Where's my song? The flowers, drunk from a long night of rain, share clandestine secrets. Speak them to me now. I wish to command a poem. Presumptuous. Could I but move my hands just so, I would find the elusive filaments, feel the delicate threads, coax them into alphabet slippers, dance them into words and phrases, then trap them on paper, mark them as my own. I wish to command a poem this instant. This pen is a pathetic proxy for a wand. And speaking of pens, we probably all have had a favorite pen or pencil along the way. When I was a little girl, I used to love those big fat pencils and the pens with all the colors you could click. One day I was tossing away a favorite pen that had run out of ink, and I said, "Goodbye, green pen," and then a poem kind of fell out. It's called Fond Farewell. Goodbye, green pen. I loved your ink, your lucid walls, your tender grip. And smiling when I pause to think, my heart recalls how words would slip from muse to me, from me to you, and tumbling down my world imbue, like pulsing things, alive and green, making known what was unseen. And this for me brings life anew. All sorrows drown at this adieu. For you, green pen, have crossed the brink to golden halls, no more to dip. Contented then, I deeply drink. My heart enthralls with every sip. Goodbye, goodbye, green pen. So it's kind of silly. Sometimes when we don't respond to the creative inspiration moment, we lose that thing, and I've had that experience many, many times. This is called Making Room for More. I cannot recapture words and phrases lost to time, liquid moments that slipped through my fingers, spilled out into darkness. But they were mine once, called me to wakefulness, left their mark, hollowed out a hungry place. I wait, a youngling sparrow, beak open and upraised, crying out for mother's return, desperate for nourishment, for words to fill my soul. Let's see. Okay. This one was actually inspired after a visit here to the Arts Depot, and I was walking home. And, you know, sometimes that process of just walking, being on the trail, being wherever you are, frees the brain up to find something, and this is called impression. I want to paint, to respond to life like a counter melody that weaves its way in and around a lovely song, but not to paint exactly what I see, merely what is, as if just seeing it is the only thing that matters. I want to feel it, feel its possibility, then somehow spill the feelings onto canvas in brilliant images, as if feeling it is the only thing that matters. Because today, it is. Let's see. Sometimes inspiration comes easily, and sometimes it's hard work. Anybody who makes anything knows that. Sometimes it's a mix of both. There was a conversation by Billy Wilder, the famous screenwriter and filmmaker, and a conversation about the muse versus the discipline involved in the creative process. And he said the muse has to know where to find you. So get to your desk and write every day. And I don't always do that, but I think it was very good advice. And And the next poem kind of addresses that. And I was reading a lot of Emily Dickinson the week I wrote this, so I kind of tried to pull her influence into this poem. It's called Assent, as in agreement. Life comes along in triumph with her coterie. In discourse of abundant words, they laugh along the way. Joy does not stop nor linger. Hope spends herself elsewhere. Love almost looks, then passes, completely unaware. I sit in heavy silence and long to play my part. But solitude, my lover, is provoking me to start, to take my efficacious pen and use it for a dart, to carve my feelings, so to tear a poem from my heart. Sometimes the creative spirit just finds us in our everyday world and I think speaks to us through our five senses. This is a poem about a moment like that. It's called Awakening. Something in this air makes my skin remember. Softly slipping through the screen door, a zephyr breeze seeks me out, whispering on my skin, dulcifying every corner of the universe within me as it steals silently across my consciousness. My skin remembers. This wordless knowing intoxicates me, soaks me like 1,000 delicate raindrops, kissing, caressing, calling me to the river that flows within, wellspring that sings without words. My skin remembers. And for once, I find I do not need to know. Words may rest for now. Sleep deeply beneath the trees in this sacred grove, dream of embodiment, wind their way into the green of my soul. My skin remembers. I sigh from my depths, release complex cares I cannot quiet, pause in that place between breaths as this soft air encodes its message on my skin. Just be. And I close with a poem called Metamorphosis. It isn't about butterflies, but it is about change. I think that art can change us. The expression of it, the experience of it, the dialogue that it creates, I feel it connects us to ourselves, to our feelings, to one another, to our world. This poem is about the power of art and its ability to bring us truth and healing and change us. It's called Metamorphosis. Mist hangs like a shroud in stillness on the lake. Song of the sirens sings her name. She steps into the waters, eyes closed, arms outstretched, palms open, upturned. Slowly, slowly, she walks into the deep, feels the shape shift as the waters pull at her humanity. She becomes the lady of the lake. She speaks. I wrap secrets in white, trap the wizard in the hawthorn. I am pure, I am power, bestowing life where I will. Guardian, giver, I hold the memories of the future, sweep stardust with my hand. My staff seeks, serves, supplants, becomes the sword, seals the witness, opens the rock. Life flows forth and fire follows, enriching the earth for seeds pregnant with promise. Now rising from the deep, she turns to shore. In white fire, she walks across the water, pushing back the darkness with each step. Now she carries colors that sing, words that live, songs that speak every heart's language, gifts of healing for the broken ones, souls hungry for truth they can touch. Thank you.
And thank you all again for sharing the power of poetry with us today. I'll go out and spread poetry, and we'll have to do this again sometime soon. Thank you.